went to start my class, and Michelle Vitale, who I teach with, came running into the classroom, and she said, "Something's happened, you've got to come. John collapsed in the parking lot."
I said, "Something is happening to me." And I say, "I'm having a stroke." Really, I'm like, is that possible? Right? And my door was open. And I said, "I had a stroke." And so I was laying like this, and I was like, I can't talk. I can't talk. I can't motion.
He was lying on the ground with the car door open right outside the car, and he was just talking in nonsense. And so the medics kept trying to ask him questions, and he would answer, but there was like no grammar there. And you know, I asked them what they thought could be going on, and they said that he may have had a stroke, and I just thought, you know, that's impossible. He's a triathlete, he was just, you know, training for one that weekend, you know, doesn't smoke or drink. It didn't make sense to me.
It was a shock, and we didn't know what we were going to find when we got here, but we were in that car and packed and gone within the hour.
We couldn't believe it. Suzanne called. We couldn't believe it. We were just in shock. And so we called the kids right away.
Nobody had any idea whether he was going to live or die, or how severe it was going to be.
We got there just as the surgeon was coming to check John.
Yeah.
And he came out. We met kind of in the hallway, and he said, "Your brother will never be normal again."
And the nurse had pointed out that his face was just a little asymmetrical, and John asked if he could go to the bathroom, and I didn't realize that that was like the last time that he would speak without effort or move without effort in a normal way. Suddenly he seized up, and he clenched the doctor's body, and everything clamped up and tightened up. And he froze, and he couldn't speak, and things just started moving very quickly, and she either said, "This is big" or "This is huge." She was just like alerting people that this was a massive event. So it was just hard to explain that experience. It's like horror. I've never felt actual horror before, horror and terror. I didn't know if he was like dying right in front of me, but I knew it was obviously very serious.
It's hard to remember what happened when, but I know that when we first saw him, it was just devastating. There was my child that was totally a different person, and like Katie said, we didn't know what was going to happen. And he did come around pretty quickly as far as cognizance. He was able to understand what we were saying, but he could not speak.
Abstraction.
Almost.
Right. Ab.
I first met John in November of 2012, and it was about 1 month after he had suffered really a devastating stroke. He did attempt to answer questions, and he was very upbeat, and he didn't show signs of a deep depression or anything like that, which was kind of atypical. So one of the things that we did during the assessment was I asked him to name some pictures as part of of a communication evaluation called the Boston Naming Test, and I only did the first 15 pictures, which was considered a screening portion because I knew he was going to have difficulty and I didn't want to get him too stressed about the fact that he wasn't going to be able to name any. Well, out of 15 pictures, he couldn't name any of the pictures at all. John presented with a diagnosis of aphasia, and his aphasia was of the non-fluent type, meaning that his speech was very sparse and halting, and he really couldn't give you too much information. And aphasia is language impairment. It's a disorder of communication. But it doesn't just affect speech. It can affect writing, spelling, and reading.
So this is a drawing that I did about 10 years ago or something like that, right? And you can see there's so much control just right here, 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 because of cross hashing, right? And that goes this one. And it's a very fine mark, right? Because there's a lot of layers and stuff like that, right? Well, here's the thing. I lost that in my hand. You could see my hand right here. It's just like if I could do that now, I mourn the loss of this hand. It's so painful for me, right? I worked probably 80 or 90 or 100 hours on this just because I sculpted that just the same way that I just showed you, right? So here's a example when I put the paint off, right? And then on, right? So here's the paint off. And so if I want to just change the paint, right, and I can do it very subtly right here, so I'm gonna just right here. See, you can see the paint.
Dr. Romero had said, lots happens in 3 months, things kind of slow down, not much improvement happens after 6 months. That hasn't at all been the case with him, but it's been something that gave us a lot of stress and pressure, because at the end of 3 months I'd feel like, no, we're not at all where he needs to be. We're not at all where he wants to be, and he felt the same.
Now in our line of work, we view improvement maybe differently than the person with whom we're working, because that person might say, yeah, I've improved, but I'm not like I used to be.
I always fantasize that I'm going to be back to normal, right? But I think like, I don't know if that's realistic, right? I don't think I'm going to be back to normal, but I need to accept the new reality of my speech.
It's looked to us like a long road of recovery for John, but a hopeful one. And the longer we stayed with him, the more this is reinforced by his determination to come back.
Some people said that, you know, oh, you can go on disability, right? And I'm thinking like, no, I'm a teacher. I'm going to go back. And I think some people thought I was crazy, right? And I'm thinking, well, maybe I am. Maybe I am. I really did think that I was crazy.
Past the diamonds hanging in the sky, I am riding silver satellite. And I am all around you. You are, you know you are everywhere. If I have the strength, I will surround you. If you find the time, meet me there in the circle of our lives.
I hope they understand me and they're patient with me. I think they're patient with me. And I really love teaching, right? I really love it.
So one thing that I knew is not a revelation is that he's very determined, he's very driven, he's very hardworking, and so all of that didn't change. He was so determined to get back fully physically, to get his language back, to get his art back, to rehabilitate his right hand. He worked so hard, was so driven.
There was a lot of prayer that went into this. And at home, everybody at home was praying for him, everybody at Katie's church, people that didn't know him or anything about him were praying for him. We really felt so much strength and courage from that.
Not very often do you go prostrate in church, but if the need is there, you'll do it. You'll be on your face, not just your knees, but you'll be on your face. We will.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me, the world should show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you.
It's a good thing. I mean, it wasn't a good thing, and I would take it back if I could, but I can't, right? And so I love you guys. Right? I love you. This is the reason that I stayed alive, amongst others, but I love you. That's it. Now go!
Believe me, well, life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing